I am your Friday hostess, Natalie. This is Season 8, Week 2, and this week we are covering our favorite pagan and witchy artists in terms of singers and podcasts. And I have noticed that during the week, some of the hosts were also covering some of their favorite blogs. So I took a few moments to make some notes for myself, seeing notes from the witch, so that I would remember everybody that I wanted to cover. And there are so many, so if it doesn't get mentioned personally, it's not anything personal. If I don't mention a specific blog, I'm sure many of you know of blogs or artists that I'm not aware of. And there are some artists that I've heard, but I can't ever seem to catch the name of the band, so I'll get into that in a minute. First, I want to talk about singers and pagan artists in terms of performers that I really greatly admire. And the first one that I have to mention, of course, is Damh the Bard, because I use his music in my videos and he has graciously given me permission to do so. I'm also currently working on a children's book for age group like 9 to about maybe 12 that is based on a couple of his songs that he has also graciously given me permission to make the children's book about his songs. And I have another witchy artist who is like an artist. Her name is Sterling. As some of you may know her, but she is phenomenally talented, and she has agreed to do the illustrations for me, but I have to finish the writing first so that she knows what she's illustrating before I send it to her. But I'm excited about that. But I love Damh. I love his music. I first discovered Damh's music on the Lady Grave Dancer's channel. She was using his music for some of her videos on her channel and for Witches of the Moon when she was a host here. We really miss her. Her energy is fantastic, but she has grown and moved on and done other things. But I really am grateful to her for the fact that she introduced me to Damh, because I probably would never have found his music otherwise. And so it's really exciting because now I've got like almost all of his albums and I listen to him constantly. But he's really very talented, and I like him because he's got kind of a folksy sound, and I really like folk music. Another pagan artist that I greatly admire is Thiel. She has got several great albums, especially around the Sabbats. She's got one that's, I think it's, the whole album is songs about the Sabbats. And I really like her music because when those Sabbats come around, I can use her music to connect on a deeper level during my ritual, and so I really enjoy her music. I also like Tuatha De Danann, and I'm sure many of you know who they are. They're pretty well known, at least here in the States, in terms of, I think they tend to tour a lot of the Renaissance fair type circuits, and they do a lot of their own performances, but they are fantastic, and they have that whole Celtic, you know, Irishy feel that just really appeals to me. Another pagan singer that I really enjoy is S.J. Tucker, and I'm sure many of you know who she is. And again, she's one of those artists that she has kind of a folksy feel to her. She's originally from Arkansas, but I understand she now resides in California. She's kind of quirky and has that whole kind of odd feel to her, that whole steampunk kind of look to her that I really like. And her music is phenomenal. She's very talented, and she's got a great voice. So I really enjoy her Witch's Rune, her version of the Witch's Rune, and I really like it because not only do I think it's beautifully done, but she also mentions both the god and the goddess, which I think brings a nice balance to the rune. Another artist that's not really pagan in nature, and I hope he doesn't mind my mentioning him here, but the Rogues are a great band if you really like Celtic music, like traditional type Celtic music. We're talking bagpipes and all that. When I was first introduced to this band, they were performing at the Renaissance fairs around town, and they were a staple performance at the Scarborough Fair down here in Waxahachie. And for the last couple of years they haven't performed there, but I am working on getting them back. I'm sending letters to the people that organize the fair and tell them, hey, we'd really like to get the Rogues back. Now, when I first saw them, they were originally called the Scottish Rogues, so you might have to find some of their albums under the Scottish Rogues. But the Rogues are a great band, and the drummer is a really, really nice guy who's one of my friends on Facebook, and I keep in touch with him because I like to know where they're touring, because every now and then I try to get out and see them when they're at other places. I think this last year they performed, or this year, but it was back in the spring, they performed at the North Texas Irish Festival, and I was planning on going and just didn't get a chance to make it. But they are really fun. They have that whole, you know, pub feel to them that's really cool, and I think you guys would enjoy them if you want to check them out. And the last singer performer that I want to mention is a friend of mine on Facebook. He is absolutely a phenomenal guy. A lot of you may already know him, but if you don't, you need to check him out. His name is David Wood, and he has got some fantastic music out there. He is a devotee of Hecate, and he really has got, I mean, if you just have to listen. His latest album, Coronation, is a kind of a compilation album of a lot of stuff he's done over the years, and it is absolutely fantastic. And what's great about David is he's very versatile, so not all of his music is pagan in nature. He's got some songs that are deeply personal, like Put the Bottle Down, which I think is a great song, and I have a cousin who is a recovering alcoholic, so I sent him that song because he's really, you know, sometimes you really struggle when you're on that path to recovery, and that song is awesome. The video is great. He's got another song called Shine that I swear to God he wrote that song for me because it came right when I really needed to hear it, and it's a fantastic song. And it's not really pagan-y in nature, but he's got other songs like Hecate and The Great Rite in Motion that really show his pagan roots. And he performs at a lot of the pagan festivals that go on and stuff like that. He's got a fantastic voice. I think he sounds a lot like Alison Moyet, whose voice I dearly love. So if you like her, you will like him. It's kind of odd, but he is absolutely fantastic. He's not hard to look at, ladies and guys. He's really cute, and he's just a sweetheart. He's a doll. Really a great guy, very active in the pagan community, and so get to know him because his music is great. Now, some of the podcasts that I want to mention, there's only two that I really listen to, and one of them I just recently started listening to. The first one is Druidcast, and I've been listening to that for a while because, as many of you know, I was doing the course to the Bardic course, and I had to set it aside because it's kind of expensive. I say expensive. It's not really that expensive. It's $30 a month for the course materials. And so I got the first few months, and then we kind of hit some hard times last year, as many of you know. We had a really bad year last year, and I had to set it aside. It is my hope that I'll be able to pick those studies up. And if you do get involved with the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids, you will get to know Damh the Bard because he is a pivotal person in that organization. It's a good organization. The learning materials are great, and the podcast is fantastic because they have a lot of good information. They have interviews with different people. They play a little bit of music, so you get some exposure to that. There's some poetry that's exposed there, which I think is really cool. And it's just a neat little podcast. Another podcast that I recently came across was Down at the Crossroads, and that is a really cool podcast. What I really like about this particular podcast is they do interviews with a lot of people who are big in the community, but they also do music. They play music in between, so it gets you a lot of exposure to some music you may not have heard, and that's where I've heard some of this really cool music, but I haven't been able to catch the artists yet. Let's see. In terms of blogs, there are a few blogs that I subscribe to and that I read on a regular basis. I like them all for different reasons. The first one I want to mention is Witchy Witterings, which is by Fran Lawrence. I really like Fran's blog because she keeps it to the craft in terms of she doesn't get very preachy. She kind of just shares her personal learning, and she shares a lot of spells. And what I really like about Fran is that we kind of see eye to eye in terms of I like my spells to rhyme. To me, there's something magical in rhyming, and when I write a spell, I like it to rhyme. They don't always rhyme, and they don't have to rhyme to be powerful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying to me there is magic in rhyme because it has a rhythm like music, and I equate music very much with magic. I think music itself is magical. And so I really like the fact that she's very open about sharing a lot of her hard worked on spells, and so on and so forth. And so I think if you checked out Witchy Witterings, you would really like it. The other blog that I read on a regular basis is the Starry blog, which is by Joey Morris, who is also a host on this channel, like Lady Gravedancer. She was one of the original hosts on this channel. And I really like her blog because she posts a lot of good thought-provoking articles. She really digs deep in her personal spiritual journey, and she's not shy about sharing what she gains from her personal journey. And some of it almost borders on shadow work, I think. She does a phenomenal job of sharing things that really get you thinking on a deeper level in terms of your own spiritual practice and connecting with deity and looking at things from new perspectives and trying to give a new voice or a different voice to things that you may not have thought about before. And I think Joey is a gifted writer. I'd like to see more of her writing professionally. I know she's recently started speaking kind of on a professional level, which is really fantastic, and I was super excited for her on that. I'd like to do that myself. I just can't seem to get it off the ground, and I'm so busy with my private practice that I don't have a lot of time to devote to it. But her blog, the Starry blog, is fantastic. If I can pull the links to each of these blogs and podcasts, by the way, I will try to put them in the down bar for you guys. I'm recording this on Wednesday night because it's the only night that Harold will be home late. And so I'm getting a chance to do it. I was actually going to record it yesterday, and he came home super early, and I was really surprised. So in terms of podcasts, those are the only, I'm sorry, I already covered podcast blogs. I really like those two blogs and read them on a regular basis. The other one that I read on a regular basis is For Puck's Sake, which is by Matt Aron. And it's funny because they actually did an interview with Matt Aron on Down at the Crossroads. It was a really good interview. He's got a great personality. Matt's very, I don't want to say in your face, because he's not in your face, but he tells it like he sees it. And what's really cool about his blog is that he offers a good variety of things to read in his blog. He offers opinion pieces. He covers different current events, I guess is for lack of a better term, that are going on within the community. He is kind of opinionated, which is nice. And, you know, it's his blog, so he can be. And I can't say that I've ever really disagreed with anything that he said, but I hesitate to agree with anybody on everything they say, but Matt really hits the nail on the head a lot of the time. What's also really cool about his blog is that he also does a lot of reviews. He does professional book reviews, and his reviews are very thorough. I find them very fair, I guess is the best way to put it. He's very objective. That's the word I'm looking for. He's very objective in his views, but he doesn't cut corners when it comes to stating what he really thinks about the writing. If it's not something that he really gained a lot out of, you're going to know it. And I appreciate that, because when I'm looking at investing in books, and I do consider books an investment because that's the kind of person that I am, and I have phenomenal amounts of books. I have bookshelves all over my house with books and books and books and books and books at my office, all three of my offices, books, books, and books. So in my opinion, you can never have too many books. And I like books. I mean, books you can open up, smell the ink, touch the pages, dog ear them, make notes. You know, I used to be really against dog earing. You know, I'd be like the kind of person who would like open the book so you wouldn't bend the spine. But as I got more into college, especially grad school, I'm like, you got to get into the book to learn. And I found that writing notes to myself and things like that was very helpful. And I really enjoy his reviews because I think he helps me invest more wisely in a lot of my books. If Matt's not too fond of a book, I'll go in and read why he didn't like it, and it may still be a book that I go ahead and invest in because I may feel, well, you know what, that's him, but I might glean something from it. But for the most part, I found that he's pretty spot on with his assessments of the books, and I really feel that I've gotten a lot out of his blog For Puck's Sake. That's his blog. There's another blog by a personal friend. She's been in a few of the Year in a Day groups that I've led on Facebook. And I'm going to try not to slaughter her name. Her name is Heather Tidwell Ciamataro, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. But she has a blog called Midnight Star of Mississippi. And I really enjoy her blog. I don't know how active she's been with it recently, but I have gone back and read some of the articles that she's posted on her blog regarding the year and a day studies that we've done. And I found that she often hits on a few points that I didn't quite catch, or that I saw things slightly differently. And I really enjoy getting a new perspective on things, because I think that you don't have to agree with someone or have the same experience as someone to grow spiritually from their experiences and yours. So I really enjoy reading different perspectives that people have, especially if their viewpoint on something was different than what mine was, or if their take on it was different from what mine was. What they got out of it was slightly different, because I think it helps me to grow and look at things in a new way, and I really enjoy that. So those are the 4 major blogs that I read, and it's not to say that, you know, there aren't other fantastic blogs, because I do plan on going back and watching everybody else's videos. I haven't been able to watch everyone's this week, but I have a feeling that there's gonna be some great blogs mentioned. That I just happened to notice that Jen mentioned a blog, so I'm going to check that one out. But I'm always looking for new things to read and grow from, and new perspectives, and so I wanted to share some of what ones that I've gotten things out of. Before I end this video, there was something that I did not write down on my notes from the witch that I wanted to mention, and it's not really a podcast, but it's a radio station that is online, and it's Wiccan music, it's pagan music all the time, but they also do some interviews. There's the brew. Oh, David, forgive me. There's one that David Wood does that comes on IPR. It's International Pagan Radio. David, I am so sorry. I think it's called the Cauldron's Brew, or the Brew. Don't shoot me, please. But that one I really enjoy too, because David does some really awesome interviews. He's interviewed people like Lady Bridwin. He has interviewed Alexander Cabot. He's done some great people that really are very active in the community and have really gone through various different traditions. And so they draw from a wide perspective of learning, and it's really cool. A lot of them are very well traveled and have had some great experiences. So I also know he's friends with Christopher Penchik, I believe. So he's got some great interviews on there. And International Pagan Radio, it's if you just Google International Pagan Radio, you'll find it. Again, if I can find the links for all of these, if these people, I know Dave has a site, Damh the Bard has a site, David Wood has a site. I'm pretty sure they all do. So I'll look for their sites, and I'll try to put all of the links for each of these things in the down bar, and that includes International Pagan Radio. I'll try to put that on there for you guys. But they have a lot of different, like, kind of sections, like, what do you call it? My mind is just, guys, it's like 9:09, but to my body it's 10:09, and the brain, the coffee is not kicking in. I just got home from work not even an hour ago, and I know I've got tons of work to do still, because I have to do all the notes for today, so please forgive me if I'm a little scattered. But I will try to find all of the links for each of these and put them in the down bar for you, so that you've got them at your availability, at your disposal. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little scattered. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to say 500 times, but my brain is umming all kinds of ways. I can't even tell you. I am so out of it tonight. Thank you again for watching. I really do appreciate it. Go check these people out. Enjoy their work. Share what you know and what you like. If there's something I haven't mentioned that you guys enjoy, please, please, please leave it in the comments so that I can see it, so that I can go back and take a look at and check those things out for myself, because I'm always looking to grow. Thanks so much, and blessed be.